Morning everybody, Rusty from the Rusty Razor. Got another shave of the day, and today we're going to be using Peach from Stirling. I've been eating a lot of peaches lately, so yeah, I like it. Love the scent of peach. Love peaches. Alright, then we're going to be using the second use of the Iridium blades with the Merkur 34C razor. And then we'll follow it up with some Peach from Stirling. Now this is the old bottle style. The way back machine here. You know, you compare it to the new style, which is this style. So, cool. A little bit of Pharaoh's Dreamsicle. There we go. So, we'll be doing a little bit of everything today. Alright, so how's your day going? Mine's like, It's woke up this morning with a plugged nose. Like, We had the old family gathering on Friday for my uncle's funeral. Alright, so let's see. Oh yeah, there's an affiliate link down below to the razor company. So if you need anything from the razor company, go ahead and click on the link. And click on the old thumbs up like button too. That helps out the channel greatly. Yeah, definitely. I noticed that I was looking at I lost a whole bunch of soap right in this thing. I was looking at my stats this morning, and channel hasn't grown any. I haven't lost any. Just it says I've been getting like 15 new subscribers a month, but my channel hasn't gone anywhere. So whatever. What really helps out the channel is clicking on the like button. That helps out everybody's channel. For the analytics. Alright, so got all that out of the way. And if you first time around, hit the subscribe button. Stick around for a while. Alright, so yeah. Well, since my last shave video last week, it was last Wednesday, that's when I did my last video. I got done doing my video and I was uploading it, and I get a call from my cousin saying that my Uncle Bill had passed away. He was 83. He let's just say he had Alzheimer's really bad. He went downhill quickly. It's like 2 years ago, just before I hurt my back, led she'd be my second cousin, which is my cousin's daughter got married, and since he's the grandfather. And these blades are sharp. Man, they're really good. They're just cutting off the old fur. Okay. Speaking of which, I have about, let's see, for 28, 29 hours worth of growth in the face. Because I got up early yesterday morning so I can go to church. But when I seen him then, and you'd be talking to him like, he'd be, have a conversation, he'd be talking about stuff we used to do. And then a minute or two later, he's like, he didn't even know who you were. It's that quickly how things just went. He'd be coherent, normal, and then the next minute he would be totally lost. So in the last 2 years, he just went south fast. And it's sad to see. I really enjoyed his company all the time. We used to go hunting and fishing all the time when he was younger. And last, I say he quit going hunting, you know, a lot, pheasant hunting and all that, because it took a lot out of him, you know, all the walking. But you know, he still loved to fish. Man, we loved fishing. It'd be one of those things where we, this is when I was still over. You know, he had a nice boat, and basically a bass boat. And if you know anything about fishing, you know what that is. And we go out on the Mississippi, or we go to Lake Rathburn. You know, it's like the different lakes that are around here, the reservoir lakes that we have in Iowa. And on the Mississippi, we had the lock and dam system. That would we'd go out on the boat, and he's like, all right, it's a lot of times he had the known as the kind of like the Iron Man when it come to being going to work. He never missed a day of work. I missed quite a few days of work because of him. Like, it's my day off, you know, because he had a rotating schedule, so many days on, so many days off, where he worked. And a lot of times, hey, I want to go fishing. You coming? And I'm like, well, I gotta work. Maybe not. I'll go. So we would go out on the river, and one of those things where the state of Iowa, you can put out a ditty pole, which is basically a temporary pole that's on a lot of times we take a tree, shave off the along the bank of, you know, of an island or something, and cut off so the tree is still anchored into the ground, but it's bendy enough that you cut the top off it, and then you tie on some fishing line to it, heavy duty, and you put a hook on it, treble hook, and then you toss on some bait, and then you throw it into the water right along because a lot of these islands where, you know, it's a sheer drop off right off the island, would be 10-foot of water on the river, and we put these poles out along all these islands and stuff, and then the catfish would bite it, get it hooked, and you just go on the entire night. You know, it would about every hour or so you'd go run along and pull up stakes wherever you're at and go check all the poles, and then pull in whatever it was. You know, we'd go out for a night and come in with like 100 catfish in the morning. You know, we'd go out about 3 o'clock in the afternoon and go fishing, set everything up, and then all night we'd be running the lines to see if anything rehook or rebait stuff, and then we'd have areas where we'd set up and pull in the cats ourselves. You know, you're getting channel cats, flatheads, blues, you name it. And occasionally, you know, we'd go out into some lower areas where we had a lot of lily pads and stuff in the more of the shallow areas, and you know, we'd go bass fishing for a while. We didn't keep the bass, you know. It's like, I'm not a big fan of bass, how that tastes, but you know, we'd go in there and catch bass, catch and release, having fun. Just you know, fishing's fishing, you know, type of thing. And it was one night. We had a couple bad hits in this one. We were tooling along in the dark. You know, at this time we had my cousin with me, my cousin Ray. And there's an area that's called the stump field because, you know, there's all the trees that used to be in there that ended up dying because when they put the lock and dam in, all the trees that were there got flooded out and, you know, died. So then basically they rot off at the tree water line. So we were cruising along, and my uncle, he's at the wheel, and he didn't realize how close we had got into the stump field. And we were flying along, and we hit, and all of a sudden, boats like doo doo, and all of a sudden, poof, or like this, literally for like that. And we're like hanging on for dear life, and my cousin, he's in the front of the boat, and he goes, ah, he's out of the boat, bobbing in the water. Go back and get his ass. And it was like, we checked out the boat, and he's like, oh, well, okay, we didn't haul ourselves, so we're good. Oh man. Yeah. One of the hazards is that on the Mississippi, you know, you got all the barge traffic. And one night we're in the channel, you know, you get into the deeper channels, that's where all the blue cats would be. The big, giant catfish. And, you know, I got a Boo Garcia reel with a ugly stick, you know, heavy duty pole. And this is my channel cat, blue cat setup. You just sit up there in the channel, and you know, you're going some pretty deep, you know, about 30 foot of water, you know, down in some of the deeper channels. Sometimes they're 50. Get some of the holes. You know, you got 100-foot holes in some places in the river. And we're just kind of floating on there. Just you put the anchor down and you float right to the edge of the hole. So you're throwing your lines into the hole and pulling up cats. And here comes a barge. We're like, oh, that barge is coming. I think we better pull up stakes and move out of its way and move back into the shallows area for a while it goes by. And so my uncle, he was like, oh yeah, better do that. So he goes to start the motor. What? Uh-oh. The outboard wouldn't light up. I'm like, oh shit. So we pull up the anchor. We're just kind of floating right down the middle of the channel. And here comes a barge. We're like, oh shit. And on the barge, you know, they have floodlights. You know, they're you know, so they're looking at where the buoys are, and you know, then all of a sudden they fly it, shine it on us, and we're like, damn boat motor wouldn't start, and we're like, my uncle's like, where's the oars? And like, oh, they're buried in the side. And like, gotta put the oars together. And finally, my cousin and I were hanging off the side with our arms just paddling like crazy, and he's trying to dig out the oars and put them together because they're plastic screwed together. You know, they're just something they put in the side box. And this barge is barreling down on us, and we're like hanging over the side, trying to get the boat to move. And finally, we got it just in time. And here comes the barge right by us, man. We're talking 10 yards away from us in the wake. It pushed us out of the way, man. It's like, you've been in front, because it's the front of the barge is like that. It's like flat. You get caught underneath that, you go right under. It'll just bury you. You're dead meat. That was one of the exciting times we had, one of those nights. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. There was one night we were running up on the day poles, and I was rebaiting, and my uncle thought we were done baiting, and I'm sitting there putting the hook in, and he takes off of the boat, and treble hook went right through my finger. It was like, ah! Like I jump in the water because I'm still bobbing on this. I'm still hooked to this damn hook and rig that's on this tree. I was like, oh crap! So they dragged me back in the boat. And we had to, they just like cut off the end of the hook and then pull it out. But that hurt. What are you doing? I was like, it took off. Yeah, I got hooked on the damn hook. I was like, oh. Yeah, and in the mornings we'd be out there, hit the morning sunrise, and come in about 10 o'clock and get back to the house, you know, and bring everything in and get to the house and spend about 2 or 3 hours cleaning fish. And then we'd have invite the families all over, cousins and you know, everybody that wanted to come over and friends, and we'd have a big gathering, and you know, that night, and have big ass fish fry, eating our spoiled lure. And I'd take some fish home with me too, so I can fry them up. Yeah, good eating, man, I tell you. Yeah, I hooked in some big lunkers, man. There was one night, gosh, I don't know how big that sucker was. We were down one of those holes, and my old pole, it took a lot of effort to bend this pole, and it just went, eh. But I was like, holy crap, what the hell do I got here? And my uncle's like, no, keep the tension on, keep the tension on. And it's like, I fought this thing for an hour trying to get it up. And it just, like, and like, you know, we're talking, my outfit will almost be good for deep sea fishing almost. And I just kept fighting this thing. Man, it was a fight. And you can tell, and all of a sudden it goes, as it takes off again, and you're fighting and fighting and fighting, and all of a sudden, twang! The old's like crap! Broke the line on it. Like, oh, that bitch. And I was trying to, you feel it, and you're like, fight, and you reel it a little bit in, and fight, and reel it in. It was a big sucker with a. And it's like, you always hear stories about guys that are, go down in the deep areas of some of these rivers along and see some of these cats that are huge, big suckers. And every once in a while you get somebody pulling in a huge ass blue cat. I can't remember what the record is for the state. My uncle does had the state record for drum. I don't know if he still does or not. I have to check. Pulled in one night. We pulled in this huge ass drum, and it is monstrous. I don't know if he still does. You know, unfortunately, a few years ago, about 2 years ago, or so. He did sell his boat. You know, when he wasn't functioning very well. My aunt made him sell his boat because she knew that there's no way she'd let him go out and fishing by himself anymore. And she basically had him sell it. That's when you knew that was getting serious. You know, stomach's growling for some reason. Ah, oh, neck right there. Wow, that is a smooth shave. Man, those Wizamets are sharp. Good blades. If you haven't ever got any of those things, try them out. They're a bit expensive, but they're worth it. It's like putting the Wizamets in like this crisp razor. Man, that's a great combo. Works really good. Alright, let's do a little bit of peach. My wife's not gonna like me today. She'll come home from work. You put peach on. Yes, I did. Went to the store the other day and I bought 10 peaches. Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely peaches and herbs. There we go. Stirling's peach. Well, it's a sad day, but you know, missed the guy. He was a good uncle. It's like both my uncles from my mom's side of the family. We spent a lot of time always doing stuff with them. They're great guys. Alright, so that's the shave there, buddy. Brought to you by Stirling's Peach. Oh man, love this stuff. There it goes right there. And then we had the second use of the Wizamet blades. The Iridium Wizamet. Yeah. Iridium Supers. With the Merkur 34C. Great combo. Alright, so that's the shave of the day, everybody. Hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Rusty out.